morning. Thank you everybody for joining us. We're excited to be able to introduce the new SVL Online system that's going to be officially in effect on March 1st. And then we're going to review kind of the billing process. It's one that we hear we need some clarification on things, so we just took a deep dive into it, and we're excited to be able to show that to our agents. I do have Bonnie, Sean, and Tammy in here with me, so they will also be assisting in presenting. We are saving all the questions until the end, so please feel free to enter those into the question box. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so with the new SVL Online, it also comes with a new fresh look. So don't be surprised when you go to log into www.svlonline if you have this show up on March 1st. Now, one thing I want to mention is if you have SVL Online pinned to your desktop or your browser, you will have to remove that pin and then re-enter it. So again, the URL is just www.svlonline.com. And again, this will all go into effect March 1st. One of the new features that we have is the show password option. There's many times where you're like, I know I entered my password incorrectly, and you have the caps lock on or off, whichever way your password's set up. So now we're able to show the password for you guys. Just a nice little feature. One of the main changes is actually the Stevens dashboard. So when you log into SVL Online, you will see this. Now, it might look somewhat familiar because when you log into the order estimate and registration, it kind of has that same feel and vibe to it, but this is actually going to be your dashboard. The dashboard shows all active shipments, which is anything that's not billed, active estimates. So if you clicked on active shipments here, it would take you to what we call the move management, which will be another screen that you can enter in information. Correct me if I'm wrong, upload paperwork, see the notes on this system as well. Active estimates down here, which it's kind of blacked off because we didn't want to give out too much information on our agents here, but these are all active estimates that they've recently entered. And you could click on that number and it would, the order number, and it would take you to the order estimate and registration. So then you're not having to click the lookup button, track your shipment down that you want to work with. So they're all available on your dashboard here. Along with the active shipments and active estimates, we have drivers that need attention and units that may need an action item. So for the drivers that need attention, they might have a physical due. Their license might be expiring. So those are all just notifications for you to be aware of. And we have the dates up here as well. So like this driver number, their physical was due on 2/20. So you would be able to enter in or go to the driver status screen and
for helpers, not
just for helpers. You could update the information that you need. For units that need attention, those might be like their inspection is due. So it just kind of gives you at a glance what is needed for your units and drivers. One thing that also is new is that we have changed these drop-down menus. So in the old system, you had everything on one screen and that was like it was filed under inquiries, reports, updates, and management, I believe. So we've changed the subject lines here. So we have shipment information, driver and operations related reports, and billing. So those are the main three that you're going to use. As you'll notice, most of like the order estimate and registration, that was on the old system as well. It's just in a new place here on the new SVL Online. One thing that is different is you'll notice there's no more domestic reg inquiry. It's now order inquiry. So you can do the same things that you could do in the domestic reg inquiry. It's just a condensed version. So if you wanted to look up the service info, there's a button that you can click that you can look at the service info. If you wanted to just upload paperwork, there's a button that just allows you to upload paperwork. So we've really done a great job of simplifying what you're seeing in the system. So we're excited about that. Am I missing anything, guys, so far on the new info? Okay, perfect. All right, so one of the main things that we've been able to do and we've focused on updating is the unit update and trip review. So this is a screenshot of what the unit update looks like. And as you can see, it gives you your active units here down at the bottom. And if you click on this unit number, it updates this information up at the top. So we have our driver number, the status of what he's doing. So if he was empty, if he's loading, proceeding, you can update the status of your driver now directly in here. You can update where they're currently located. You can update when they're going to be at their next point of contact. So we're really excited about this to be able to give you guys the tools to update your drivers without having to, I mean, in the summer, sometimes it's difficult to get somebody, get your dispatcher or, you know, get that information updated. So in here, you can update it yourself and it will notify operations and, for instance, like the move center, when your driver is next going to be at, you know, his place of wherever he's supposed to be. And then we have the trip review. I'm going to turn this one over to Sean to kind of dive into.
Well, one of the exciting things about being able to update the driver's status and the trip review is that there are some of your units that you don't have necessarily a dispatcher, and maybe you're looking for additional tonnage. And if they're updated and updated timely and ahead of time, then operations can use that additional capacity to try to fill that. So that's the exciting thing about a unit update and a trip review. This is how the trip review is how you can update the individual shipment data on the driver's trailers. So if you click on the unit on the left-hand side, it will bring up the shipments down on the bottom, and then you can click on the individual shipment and update it. So you can add in the middle, you can add the gross and tare weight, and then the total cube it took up, so we know how much that is. And down below that, you can put in your actual load dates, phone numbers. You can update the destination information so that you can show that it delivered to residence or storage. This is important so that as soon as the shipment is updated as delivered, the billing process can start. That's a critical function. And then you can also upload your paperwork right from this screen as well. There's a upload paperwork feature, and make sure that anything you do update, you put save, click on the save changes. button right there. You can get, again, you can get your service instructions. You can email claims forms right from here if you need to do that as well. But one of the key things for getting information from agents is getting the weights and getting the paperwork. So right from this one screen, you can get that information and then also update deliveries and where the drivers are at. And going back to the unit update information, if you update where your driver is now and where your driver is going to be, that's important because then that tells that the driver's on track to where he needs to be next. And in this screen, in addition to updating delivery, you can see that there's an ETA. So a lot of times when you're loading a shipment, there's a delivery spread. It makes sense. We have multiple days. If you're handling a military shipment, the delivery spread may be very long. And if you just leave the ETA, the end of the spread, nobody in center operations is looking for your driver to be at the destination point until the end of that delivery spread. So, and if your driver is going to deliver 10 days earlier, nobody's looking to help load him. So this is a way to make sure your driver's dates are updated and somebody's looking for that driver to be there at that time. So as soon as you're loaded, to update the ETAs, that's a critical functionality that'll help add visibility to those drivers, those units, and that additional capacity.
Great. So one of the other features that the new SVL Online system offers us is that on every one of the programs that you're in, so for instance, the order estimate and registration, if you were to click on this form documentation, which is under My Help, and you click the form documentation, it pops up the instructions on how to use each one of the drop-down features that we have. So if it's order inquiry, trip review, order estimate and registration, for example, all of them give you detailed service instructions that Tammy spent a lot of time on putting together for each one of those. So we're very appreciative of that, and just remember that this tool is available to you. Now, you can always reach out to myself, Terry, Tammy, Bonnie, you know, whoever else, if you have questions, but just know that these detailed service or work instructions are there for you. So we're really excited about the new SVL Online. It's been in the works for quite a while, and we're just switching platforms to be able to give our agents and users of this program more functionality to be more efficient and improve business processes. So we're really excited about that. We know that when March 1st comes and this switches over, there's going to be some confusion. So, you know, feel free to call us. Be patient because there's a lot of users that use this, and just know that we will get back to you if you do have any questions. But again, we're really excited about the new SVL Online system. So now we will switch into the billing process and work with that.
Okay. We want our agents to be paid just like we want to get paid by the companies that we do business with, whether it's another van line, a national account. We've had some issues recently where we do not receive the proper documentation, and without that, we can't bill our national accounts or the other van lines for delivery documentation. So we need you guys to be very proactive in getting your paperwork to us, because if we don't get the paperwork, we can't bill, we can't get paid, and you're not going to get paid. We had one national account who's come back to us and said specifically, if we don't have a signed bill of lading, we can't bill the file to their account. So we're just going to go through a little bit of what the billing process is and what we are looking for paperwork. So the origin agent performs a survey and completes the estimate. Gets a signed order for service with the total cost of the move and the move date. You need to make sure all of that is completed. Once the shipment is registered, a registration number is assigned, and we need you to upload the signed order for service. This is one of the biggest delays that causes us an issue with billing is not having the order for service. If you're using the Stevens system or the Stevens online order registration, you can email the order for service right from there. When you're in the print section, there's a spot that says email estimate. Put in the accounting paperwork email, and it will email it to our system and upload it to our registration. So that way, when we build the file, we already have the order for service.
So even though that's not the signed order for service,
Right.
we still obviously need the signed order for service, but this at least gives us access to know what you had really discussed with the customer, what you rated the shipment at. So at least we have a general idea of, you know, what the customer was paying for. So as Bonnie mentioned, you know, this order for service is one of the main things that holds up the billing process. I can't imagine on the agent side, once you register the move, you're going to get an email that says, hey, upload the order for service. So you're getting that email constantly until it's uploaded. So just, you know, we send a lot of emails, we know, and this is just one that you can take care of right away as soon as you register the move so that, you know, you don't have to get that email on a daily basis asking for the paperwork. So just keep that in mind.
As the packing agent, you are required to document all services performed for packing. So you have to have a signed ASP. If it's a full pack, yes, you still have to have an ASP signed by the shipper because we have to have something signed that states packing was performed. If it's a custom pack, you have to itemize the packing. And again, it has to be signed by the shipper. The shipper has to sign for all services performed: packing, bulky articles, extra labor, shuttle, anything that you're doing on that shipment, there has to be a signature. DP3, the same thing, needs to have a DD619 signed by the shipper for proof that packing was performed. We do have a couple of carriers who do not like to pay us without that, and we will fight to get paid, but it is a required document. Uploading paperwork. Once your shipment is delivered, you can upload the document so that we can start the billing process. The billers are required to confirm we have all documents to bill. If anything is missing, we will contact you. So don't ignore our phone calls or emails or system notes, because by doing that, you're just delaying and uploading paperwork, which delays in billing, which delays in paying agents, and we know how our agents like to be paid timely. So make sure you're uploading the documents. If you have any questions about uploading, Barb Sequin, the billing supervisor, can work with you on that, as can the billers. They can also assist you.
And guys, we understand that this is like, oh, this is basic stuff. We should have the paperwork, be getting it signed, uploading it, all of that. But we need to reinforce this because we are having issues getting the proper documentation, getting the paperwork sent back into Stevens. I mean, there's a reason why we need it. If we're audited, we need the signed paperwork. I mean, there's no going around that. And we want to pay you just as much as you want to be paid. So help us, as Jerry Maguire would say, or that movie, help me help you. So something like that, right, Robin?
Right.
So just know that we want to pay in a timely manner. It's just there's things that do hold up the process. So let's work together to not have that happen.
Valuation, just a reminder that the shipper does need to sign for valuation. So when you are completing the estimate, make sure you explain to the shipper what their valuation options are and that they must choose an option. Signing the order for service is good, but they also need to sign the bill of lading for the valuation they request. They need to either state they want full value or sign that they are waiving full value and accept 60 cents a pound. If they need to sign how much valuation they want and what the deductible is on that. If the valuation section is not properly completed, it can result in us not billing for the correct valuation or a claim settlement not based on what the shipper thought they had requested, and then you create an upset customer because they thought they had full value, but they signed for basic, or vice versa. So make sure your shippers understand the importance. The driver is to make sure that the shipper signs the bill of lading, but you need to make sure the shipper understands what they are signing when they sign that. As a hauling agent, required documentation, signed bill of lading. This has become an issue for us in the last few months. The shipper has to sign the bill of lading showing that it delivered to residents with the date and the shipper's signature. If it goes to storage, it needs to be signed by the warehouse and include the date the shipment went into storage. When we bill our accounts, we have to provide that information. Weight tickets, we seem to go in spurts where we have drivers that don't weigh shipments. Not sure why you would do that, because all shipments require weight tickets. So make sure you are getting the weight tickets on all moves and that the weight tickets meet all DOT requirements. The date the shipment was weighed, the scale location, the weighmaster signature, and don't send in weight tickets from 2 years ago on your unit, because that's the lightweight that you always use for that shipment. Our accounts won't accept that. The weight tickets have to be current and match the dates of the shipments. And of course, signed delivery inventories for all moves. If they're not signed by the shipper, we have to go back to the shipper to get them signed before we can bill our accounts. So the same thing on the hauling paperwork. Once the shipment's delivered, you will start to receive emails from us telling you we need the paperwork. The email starts depending on what our requirement is for our account. We have one account that requires we bill within 10 days, so I believe it's 3 days after it delivers, we start sending emails. Otherwise, I believe it's 5 days after delivery. So don't ignore our emails. Again, we're trying to help you guys get paid timely so that we can, helping us get the paperwork so we can bill timely so you get paid timely. So, all right, our next section is payment and revenue distribution.
Woo!
Do you want to do that?
So,
go ahead.
okay, so I put together a little flow chart. It's not the best flow chart, but at least you have an idea on it. So on Sunday, you can look at your account, or first thing Monday morning, and say, is your account in a negative or a positive? So if it's in the positive, you will receive an ACH notification on Wednesday. And once you receive that ACH notification, you should check the revenue distribution screen to make sure that we've paid you for all of your services that you've performed. Now, for example, if you guys performed a shuttle and we did not know about it, it might not be on your settlement. So we want to make sure that we're paying you for all of your services that you're performing. Same thing with any vouchers that are on there or on your settlement sheet, or any checks. So you have access to look up the vouchers that are on those. So just make sure that, you know, we could have typed a unit number wrong and you're getting charged for something that was maybe a different agent. So once you've done that, we will do the wires and you will be paid on Friday. It should be in your account on Friday. Now, if your account balance was in the negative, you will receive a statement on Monday from Cynthia that will show the balance due to Stevens. If there is a collection issue, Bonnie's going to be giving you a call. So we just don't want, we understand that sometimes an account might be in the negative for a few days or something, but if it seems to be an ongoing issue, just know that Bonnie's going to be reaching out to you so that we can figure out an action plan going forward to turn that account around. Did I miss anything with this?
If you are not currently on ACH, please contact Cynthia and get set up for ACH. That way you don't have to wait for the check in the mail or standing in line at the bank to deposit it or all of that good stuff. If we have you set up for ACH, your money's in your account on Friday morning.
Sounds like something I would do. All right. So now let's go to any questions that we have here. Is the new dashboard already in effect? Yes, you currently can access this. If you click in the order estimate and registration, it takes you to the new platform. And if you'll look at the top, you do have the drop-down menus of the shipment information, driver unit status, or driver operations, reports, and billing.
Dashboard in the upper left-hand corner.
Yep, and the dashboard is in the left-hand corner. Now, if they click on that, the dashboard's active as well. Perfect. So yes, you can access that now and play around and get familiar with that system now. Let's see. Okay. This is a situation where they're uploading the paperwork and you're running into a problem with Tier 1 never knowing if they got the paperwork or not. So I will just mention, if it's OA services or DA services, that paperwork needs to be sent directly to Tier 1, or Sean, help me, can they upload the paperwork directly into the Tier 1 portal we have?
Yes, the paperwork can be uploaded directly into the Tier 1 portal, and you can actually go into the Tier 1 portal to see that paperwork. If anybody has any questions, they're welcome to give me a call, contact me, Sean.Musselman@Stevens Worldwide, and I will be happy to show people how to go through that. We can set up a webinar and go through that process. So
yeah, let's run through that for our next webinar. We'll add that to just an example to show you guys how to do that.
Excellent.
Perfect. Now for the hauling portion, Stevens Van Lines needs the hauling document. So if you were the OA on the shipment and also the hauling agent, you will have to upload them, the origin paperwork in the Tier 1 portal and the hauling paperwork in SVL online.
Yes.
So that is a change, and I know a lot of our agents and haulers, we're still getting used to that, and even on this side, we're still working through those changes as well. So
I just want to add one thing to that.
Yeah.
Remember that when you are hauling under Stevens authority. So the paperwork needs to come to Stevens for Stevens to pay you and bill Tier 1 or TMM. You are not to bill Tier 1 or TMM for the hauling portion.
good to know.
So that's all done through us.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, and I think the other question that Steve had was how can we tell whether paperwork was uploaded? But you can see any paperwork that's uploaded in on SVL Online, and it's listed. I'm trying to remember if it's listed in the order estimate registration, but it's definitely listed in the Booker update screen, the paperwork that's uploaded.
Yep, so it would be currently in the domestic reg inquiry, but going forward, it will now, you can access it through the order inquiry.
Yes.
Perfect.
And then there's also, under the moves management, there's a tab called registration docs, and then you'll see an online ID if it's been uploaded, and you click on that, open it up, and see it.
Perfect. So we're all going to be learning things the next few weeks here until we get real familiar with the system. And that's why we're also rolling it out to our agents and users now, so that we're ready come May, as we know it's going to be all hands on deck then. Are there any plans in place to get the SVL and Tier 1 website to interact with each other on the Tier 1 jobs that we haul under SVL authority?
So hauling, if you haul a shipment, the paperwork for hauling does not need to be uploaded into Tier 1 site. OADA will always stay with Tier 1, and if you upload it under Stevens, we can't bill for that service, so it's going to have to be a separate process going forward. So, and continue to be that way. The OADA revenue stream is directly between you and the entities that you agree to do business with. The hauling piece is between Stevens and those entities because it's under Stevens authority or Stevens agent agreement contract terms, so that you need to make sure that that paperwork is going to Stevens and it does not need to go to Tier 1 from you.
Right. When we submit the invoice to Tier 1 or TMM, we will send the delivery documents with the invoices.
So I have another question, and I think we've touched base on this, but is there any plan in place to have, when documents are uploaded into the Tier 1 portal, to have those fed through to SBL Online? So if you were the hauler on the shipment, you can look at the cube sheet to, take a look at what's in there. Are we going to need 2 guys for labor and so on? So, and if the answer is we're not there yet, we're not there yet, but.
So we're not there yet, but that is something that came out of previous conversations, and so that is something that came out of previous conversations, and we are definitely exploring that with Tier 1, but we're still want to make sure that the data feeds are coming through before we start putting other enhancements in place.
Definitely. Well, at least it's on the list. As we talked about in the last month's webinar, there are some growing pains. So we do appreciate all of our agents and haulers, continuing to give us the feedback that they're experiencing with the new partnership, and we're continuing to make improvements as we can. Will operations let DAs know when it's a Tier 1 shipment? So
I, in my new role as Director of Business Excellence, I'm working on different communication pieces, and I'm always looking for suggestions as that relates to, currently I'm working with Central Operations, so I will add this to the list of items that we want to explore on how to communicate better with our agents. So it's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions at this time. So thank you, everyone, for the questions. Those were great, great things to ask. So I do have a little plug for our Power Up Sales Conference and Tammy Hetrick. No, but no, our Power Up Sales Conference. It's in Las Vegas, March 13th and 14th. We have a great speaker lined up for it, Louis Massaro. If you haven't followed him on Facebook, LinkedIn, all of the social medias, it looks like I spelled Massaro incorrectly, my bad. But anyways, we're definitely excited to have him. I've listened to a few of his YouTube podcasts, and I think he can definitely be beneficial to our agents, and I'm sure we'll learn a lot from him at the sales conference. So if you haven't signed up, you still can sign up. I don't know that our room block is still open, but I know that we'll still accept registrations, and we'll work with you on getting a room if we don't have our room block anymore. So our next webinar is going to be on all the opportunities that we are offering. So we're going to touch base on international opportunities. I know that our agents, we tend to steer away from those international opportunities, but we have a lot of them that we can tap in our agency family into our international division. Hauling opportunities, Sean touched base a little bit about that, about our intermittent fleet. So we're going to dive into that for next month as well. OADA opportunities, and much, much more. So we're really excited about everything that is coming up and new initiatives here at Stevens. So be sure to tune into that one as well. All right, well, again, thank you guys for attending. If your staff wasn't able to attend this session, we do have it recorded, but we will also have another session go on at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that one as well. Thanks, guys.